Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on EcoConsciousness. My name is Awhona, and this video is going to be about my pile of possibilities for Mermaidathon 2023. Now, Mermaidathon is a 2-week readathon which has been hosted and created by Macy from The Bright Side Girl. I'll leave a link to her announcement videos as well as all the other videos which she has very kindly posted for all of us in the description box below as well as in the overhead cards above for all of you to cross-check. Now, I call this my pile of possibilities because it could be possible that I might exceed the stipulated amount of time for reading this stack, but then yes, I will definitely try sharing all of that with you. The other thing that I also wanted to mention that I might be a bit late in sharing all the books that I would be reading further on for Mermaidathon, because I will be traveling somewhere in July, but I'm not too sure when I'll start traveling. So I'll let you know and keep you all posted and updated about it. However, do please join me further in this video. So now let me walk you through my pile of possibilities. So Macy has provided us with a couple of prompts so as to help us to get our TBRs together for mermaid inspired as well as beach inspired and oceans inspired reading. So the first prompt is to read a book with a mermaid on the cover. So for this I have chosen Jennifer Donnelly's Water Fire Sagas Deep Blue. This is the first in the series. It's a portrait, and I had noticed this as a recommendation in one of Macy's videos, and I'll leave a link to that video of course in the description box below and the overhead card above so that you can watch the entire recommendation list, because they are absolutely wonderful. And this is a story about a mermaid kingdom and how it gets devastated, and this mermaid kingdom apparently is supposed to be the mer version of the people of Atlantis when Atlantis crashed, and there were humans who were called as pteragogues, and then there are mer people who are the mermaids, and then there are lots of other very interesting tribes, and there is politics between the tribes. So it's basically everything which we have in the human world, but this is a story which is based underwater, and it's about the mer people. It's a very interesting series, and I've already started it so that I can complete it in time, and because it's a portrait, so I probably will continue with parts 2, 3 and 4 later on after I complete this. So that will be the first book that I'll be reading. The second prompt is to read a book which is based on a beach. So for this I have chosen the third in the series of Caroline Roberts' The Cozy Seaside Chocolate Shop. So this is a sweet shop series in which we have this woman who wants to start her life all over again, and she gets a divorce from her husband, and she finally managed to open a sweet shop on a beach which has a line of confectionery shops, and it's a very interesting series. So this happens on a beach, and it does have elements of romance in it as well, so it does fulfill another prompt which I will mention further on, because I do have a separate book for that. So that will be the second book. The third prompt is to read a book which is based on an island. So for this I have chosen Nicola Penfold's Between Sea and Sky. Now this is based somewhat on an island. It's not exactly an island, but it's a sea farm which is in the middle of nowhere, and also it's a sea farm. It's actually away from the mainland, and it's an oyster farm, and the mainland I'm not sure if it's futuristic or not, but it's basically follows the fact that the mainland has the waters impure, and they're polluted, and they're diseased, and there is only a very unique place which is far off from the mainland, which has pure waters of the sea, and there's a oyster farm which these two girls are part of, and the sky and the sea become the fifth element for them because they're surrounded by the sea. So it's almost like a very small island, but it's a sea farm. And then there's this boy who comes from the mainland to spend a vacation at the sea farm with the secrets of his own, and he promises that, or he makes these two girls promise that they won't reveal the secret, but then the secret is such that they innocently agree, but then they realize later on that probably they will have to risk everything to protect the secret. So it's a decision that they have to make. So that's what the story briefly follows. And then the next prompt is to read a book which is based in the sea or around the sea. So for this, I have chosen Natasha Bowen's Skin of the Sea. Now, this is a book which is, or this is a plot which is inspired from African mythology, and the mermaids in African mythology are called the Mamiwata. So we have a Mamiwata who is trained, and she is supposed to save the lives of all the dying sailors, but unfortunately she saves the lives of a boy who was about to drown, and he somehow survives. So she hides him in a cave, and this is discovered, and she has to go to the Supreme Creator and explain herself, and the Supreme Creator has to decide whether her existence as Mamiwata is bearable or not, because it's a sin to fall in love with I believe there are elements of love in this as well, to fall in love with the very person whom, or the very human whom you have saved, and also make him survive. So this is something which this plot follows. So I'm not too sure about the exact details, but it's somewhere briefly based on this line. And the last prompt is to read a book which has an ocean romance brewing in it. So for this, I have chosen a very interesting book which I did stumble across, and that's by Maggie Tokuda Hall. I hope I've got that right. And it's called The Mermaid, the Witch in the Sea. And this very much reminds me of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I found this title very interesting. So it does have this pirate. It does have a pirate, and it also has a woman who is in love, and there's a mermaid as well. And there is they are in through very tumultuous times, and there's a romance brewing inside the story as well. So I don't know the exact details, but this is what the story follows. So these are the books that I'll be reading for the prompts which Macy has for us. Now I'm about to share the books which I hope I will be able to complete, or if I cannot complete, I'll continue reading them further on. So the first one of these is by Kat Fall, and it's called Dark Life. And this is a book which I had picked up during the month of March, when I had participated in middle grade March and middle grade March Madness, I believe. And also this is a middle grade, of course, and it's dystopian, and it's all about water life, as well as the conflicts which are between the sea as well as the water life. And because it's dystopian nature, that obviously there will be a water catastrophe as well. So anyway, there is a water catastrophe which takes place somewhere in the future, wherein humans are they are supposed to be they are forced to live underwater. So there are underwater settlements, but they do undergo lots of adaptations to help them to survive. And then there are a separate clan of humans who stay on land, and there's always a conflict between the two. So somehow there's a boy who is from the underwater, and he rescues a girl who is from the land, but she has come to the sea, and she was trying to search for her brother. And he realizes that she is not one of those people from the land who try to grab people who are living in the sea, and he tries to help her out. And this girl goes through an entire world which is separate from her own, and it's completely established underground, and they are a bit different. And this is what the story follows. And there's a lot of other things involved as well, but I'll let you know once I complete this, because I just started this but I could not complete it, so hopefully I should be able to get through it. There is another book which I also wanted to read, which is a retelling of The Little Mermaid, and this is Louis O'Neill's The Surface Breaks, and I absolutely love the cover. It's absolutely gorgeous, and this is of course a retelling of The Little Mermaid, so I don't really have to explain much. Another book which I wanted to read for which could be a double read for the prompt story set in the sea would be Sindbad the Sailor, or Sindbad and the Trumpet of Israfel by Kevin Missel. Now, Kevin Missel is an Indian author, and this is a fantasy which is based around, or a retelling of Sindbad the Sailor. And this is about this girl whom he loves. However, she is the only one that he has to kill, she has to be killed by him, and he has to travel 7 seas. So it's all about the adventures. It's a duology, so this is just part one of it. But I just hope I'll be able to start this during this readathon. The next book that I also had my eyes on is called, which is a beautiful cover, is by Kara Cass, and this is The Siren, and this is an ocean romance, I believe. Now, I'm not too sure if it has a mermaid or not, but definitely there's an ocean romance wherein there's this girl who is oceans apart from a boy whom she loves, and things go on from there. So I absolutely love the cover, and this was one of the other recommendations by Macy on Instagram, and I absolutely loved it. And I had actually got this copy just a day before she posted this recommendation on her Instagram account. So yes, I leave a link to her Instagram account in the description box below as well. So the next book which I wanted to very much read is called The Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. This is a duology, and this is part one of this entire series. So this is the story which precedes The Little Mermaid. So The Little Mermaid has a sea witch, and how did this entity become the sea witch is what the story is all about. So I believe this story has 3 characters: one who is a royal, one who was blessed with magic, and the other one who is already passed on to the spirit realm, but then she returns back and things take off from there. So that's what this particular story is about. And also one of the other recommendations by Macy, and one of the very interesting authors is Deep Light by Frances Hardinge. Now, I had read one of the other books by Frances Hardinge called, I believe, I'm not too sure what it was called, but I think it was called Lies, or The Liar, something, and I absolutely loved it. It was gothic, and the plot was, the writing style was something which really appealed to me. So since there is another book by Frances Hardinge, so obviously I couldn't miss it out. Of course, it's going to take me some time to read this, but yes, I hope I'll be able to start it during this readathon. So those are the few other possibilities that I do have on my list. So those are all the books that I plan on reading. Those are my reading plans. I don't know how many I'll be able to get through, because as I mentioned before, I'll also be traveling, but I'm not too sure about the date when I start traveling. I'll mention all of that, and I'm quite excited to begin this readathon and also participate in the Instagram challenges. And with that, I'll be wrapping up this video. I'll see you soon next week, because I probably will be posting next week as well. Obviously, this is a bi-weekly channel where I post every 2 weeks, but then because I'll be traveling, I probably will try and keep up posting every week, so that in case if I'm not able to post during the forthcoming weeks because of my travels, at least I have some content on this channel regarding this particular readathon. So with that, I'll be wrapping up this video. I'll see you soon next week. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.